Parliamentary Motion. For strengthened legal security, family attachment, and minimization of harmful coercive measures in child welfare cases. Proposed decision by Parliament. Parliament requests the government to 1. Conduct a national review of the social services handling of cases under the Act on Special Provisions for the Care of Young Persons, LVU, 1990. 52. With a particular focus on legal security, proportionality, documentation, and systematic support measures prior to coercive interventions. 2. Introduce a statutory requirement that individually tailored support measures to the child's biological family must always be offered and documented before any coercive intervention under LVU. Except in acute situations where the child faces immediate and serious harm. 3. Strengthen the child's right to attachment, continuity, and origin under Chapter 1, Section 2 of the Social Services Act and Articles 8, 9 of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, through clearer regulation in SOL and LVU. 4. Ensure nationally consistent procedures, risk assessments, and decision-making methodologies across municipalities to guarantee children's right to equal treatment. 5. Enhance independent oversight of foster homes, emergency homes, and residential care facilities, including unannounced inspections, documented follow-up, and mandatory reporting of deficiencies. 6. Implement mandatory long-term follow-up of children's physical and mental health after placement, with clear reporting requirements and accountability for deficiencies or harm. 7. Strengthen accountability mechanisms for placement-related harm, flawed LVU decisions, and disproportionate interventions, including the possibility of reintegration with the biological family when appropriate. Justification. 1. The social services and the consequences of power. The social services is one of the most intrusive authorities in Sweden. It has the mandate to investigate families, make decisions affecting children's futures, remove children under LVU. With such authority comes the responsibility to act proportionally, lawfully, and with respect for the best interests of the child. Experience, research, and oversight show that coercive interventions sometimes harm children more than they protect, causing psychological trauma and long-term mental health problems. Repeated and unstable placements. Permanent loss of attachment to biological parents and siblings. Loss of identity, culture, and origin. In extreme cases, death or severe neglect. It is unacceptable that the state, tasked with protecting children, becomes a source of harm. 2. Biological family and child attachment. According to Chapter 1, Section 2 of SOL and Article 8 of the UN Convention on the Rights of the child's best interests must always be paramount. Biological family constitutes the child's primary attachment, and separation should only occur when the child faces serious risk. Many LVU cases are initiated without first offering adequate support, resulting in unnecessary trauma and marginalization of parents. Children's attachment to their family must always be prioritized. Separation must be the last resort, not the first solution. 3. Harm from disproportionate LVU use. Disproportionate coercive interventions result in mental illness, PTSD, depression, instability and rootlessness, loss of attachment to parents and siblings, long-term social consequences such as criminality or marginalization. Children removed when support would suffice are subjected to lifelong harm. Every coercive intervention that is not absolutely necessary is a betrayal of the child and the state. 4. National variation and legal security. Decisions and investigations vary greatly between municipalities, resulting in inequality in children's rights. National standards for risk assessment, support measures, and investigative methodology are therefore necessary. No Swedish child's future should be determined by a postal code. Children's rights must be equal nationwide. 5. Independent oversight and accountability. Children's safety requires independent oversight, mandatory reporting, and the ability to hold authorities accountable for deficiencies. The state must be accountable when children suffer in its care. 6. The child's voice and continuity. Children's right to participation, continuity, and attachment must be ensured according to Chapter 6, Section 2 of Seoul and Article 12 of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. Decisions must never be made without considering the child's perspective. A child who is heard suffers less. Their voice is a right, not a formality. 7. Conclusion. The social services should be a safety net, not a source of lifelong trauma. LVU must be a last resort, not the first solution. Parliament must ensure support is always attempted before coercive intervention. Children's attachment, origin, and family are prioritized. National consistency and legal security are upheld. Independent oversight is strengthened and accountability enforced. The state must protect children, not replace parents with trauma. Coercive measures must be restrictive, proportionate, and always preceded by support. This motion calls on Parliament to urge the government to conduct a national review of LVU application. Social services support measures, oversight, and accountability mechanisms, with special emphasis on children's right to their biological family and minimization of harmful interventions.